About the protests in Nigeria. I'm sure that every single person who's watching has heard, has seen videos, have seen pictures of either the bloodied flag or Nigerians being shot at, or the rampage that's going on the streets of Lagos and around the country today. I don't know. We're getting a feedback from somebody. Whose feedback are we getting? Katung and Joshua, please check your feedback. We're getting feedback. It's either a microphone or something. Anyway, my name is Mary Anna Cone, and I'm reporting live from Lagos, Nigeria. And the big question for tonight is, who ordered the killings? I was hoping that when Mr. President decided to talk about this, or decided that he was going to address Nigerians, he was going to tell us exactly what happened and who ordered the killings. And I was hoping that my question for tonight would change, but it did not change. I can still ask that question tonight. Who ordered the killings? Well, joining me tonight to have that conversation, I have all the way from Canada, right, Katung? Katung Aduak is a video and film producer. He's also an activist. He's one of the major voices from Nigeria, outside Nigeria, making the moves that we need, is speaking up about the issues that are bedeviling us in the country. Katung, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Also joining us on the conversation, we have Joshua Nte Rogers. He is a news editor and producer with Nigeria Info FM, Nigeria's #1 talk radio station in Port Harcourt, River State. Thank you, Joshua, for joining us. Hello, Joshua. Can you hear me? All right, perfect. Thank you very much for joining us. We want to apologize. We are having network issues. We're having internet drama in Nigeria. It's been like that for about 5 days. Our networks are jammed. If you can, please stay tuned because we have to have this conversation. I'm going to start with you, Katung. We'll start with Mr. President's speech because that was the biggest thing. A few hours ago, we heard that the president was going to speak with us. He was going to address the nation. People have been asked why the president has not said anything about the shootings that happened at the Lekki toll. But today, the president decided to speak to us. I think we lost Katung, unfortunately. Joshua, is it possible for you to leave us and then rejoin? Please join us again so that we can have this conversation. I think we also lost Katung, but...
No, I'm here. I'm actually here.
Oh, you are? Oh, good.
Yes.
I guess it's my internet that's playing tricks on me. Anyway, so Katung, I want to hear from you what you thought about Mr. President's speech. We all waited and listened keenly, hoping that the president was going to address the issues on ground. What did you get from that interview?
I want to first of all say thank you for having me on this platform and lending my voice to speak. I first of all condemn the killings that happened at the Lekki toll. That was very unconstitutional. It was outright wrong. It was just barbaric. It was unbecoming of a nation, of a state, to actually unleash lethal force on its populace that were peacefully protesting, holding hands and sitting on the ground. Now, the one of the most notable things about the protests and one of them and the killings is, in fact, the loudest thing that we've heard so far is the president's silence, if I can put it that way. He has been quiet. He has not said anything. We've expected that the president should come and say something. You would expect that the president should come to take charge and give his people calm, give them solace, and give them reassurance, which is what we have leaders for, to be able to take charge and direct. But he has been quiet, and then finally he has spoken today. And to be honest, that speech, like I was telling you before we started, this speech left me speechless. The speech lacked empathy, it lacked reassurance, it lacked any sort of care or candor at all. I do not think that anybody listened to that speech and was able to move from point A to B. Everybody is just stuck in confusion. Everybody is stuck in wonder. Everybody is left wondering, where do we go from here? Do we continue to protest? He literally almost just threatened people. The tone was like, I dare you to come out and protest again. He said, be careful, be warned. Do you understand? So,
Katun, I would like to quickly just pick out some. I have the full text of Mr. President's broadcast. I'll just like to pick on some of the things that I saw.
yes.
He said the choice to demonstrate peacefully is a fundamental human right of citizens enshrined in Section 40 of our Constitution and other enactments. But this right to protest also imposes on the demonstrators the responsibility to respect the rights of other citizens and the necessity to operate within the law, which I think that the protesters did. Now, he said, as a democratic government, we listened and carefully evaluated the 5-point demands of the protesters. And having accepted them, we immediately scrapped SARS and put measures in place to address the demands of our youth. Now, he went on to say, but the result of this is clear to all observers. Human lives have been lost. Acts of sexual violence have been reported. 2 major correctional facilities were attacked. He went on to list all the bad things that happened after the real protesters had gone home. He listed all of those things and said, government has put in place measures and initiatives principally targeted at youths, women, and the most vulnerable groups in our society. This includes a broad plan to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty, paying 3 months staff salary, blah, blah, blah. He goes on and on and on. And then he says, with regard to the welfare of police personnel, the National Salaries, Income and Wages Commission have been directed to expedite action on the finalization of the new salary structure of members of the Nigerian Police Force. Emoluments, services are being reviewed. Now, he said, let me at this point reaffirm government's commitment to preserving the country's unity. But the part that struck me, or rather caught my attention, was that sadly, with the promptness in which we have acted, seems to have been misconstrued as a sign of weakness and twisted by some of their selfish, unpatriotic interests. Now, he's talking about protesters mixed with hoodlums. Now, lots of people are stuck on that part of the speech. What does the president mean by having terminated SARS? We made it clear that we were going to implement extensive reforms, but that the promptness in which we acted seemed to have been misconstrued as a sign of weakness. Katun, I think you and I and several other people have been complaining about lack of implementation of the 5 demands that we had initially before they became 7. Was there any promptness? And where is the weakness that Mr. President is talking about here? Maybe I'm confused.
First of all, we have not seen anything, any change whatsoever. Even the scrapping of SARS is just like we call it audio messaging that we have seen for the past 4 years. It does not make sense for you to scrap an organization and then institute another one that are still going to populate with the same people. Do you get that? Is it does not make any sense. So they did not acted any way promptly at all. And then he said they should not be mistaken for weakness. Now, all the damage that we are seeing that is happening right now is done by the government. We have videos that show hoodlums being offloaded from government vehicles. We have videos showing them alighting from police vehicles all around the nation. They have brought in non-state actors and given them the power of violence to disrupt these protests in order to be able to justify their curfews and justify the actions that they are going to be taking. These are not new tactics. We have seen them before. In Benin, where the prisoners escaped the prisons, they came on and did interviews and said the prison warders opened the gate for them and said, run, go. These are acts just to create chaos and then to justify them bringing in the military and take the actions that they are taking. We are not fools. We are not blind. We can see. So the government needs to own up to its responsibility and say we have failed. Now we're going to come to the table. Let us deal with things as they should be dealt with. You see, the thing is they've never faced this kind of opposition before, so it is actually new to them too. I agree. So they probably don't know how to respond. But what they need to do now is start listening to the pulse of the people to know how to react, or else this will just continue to escalate.
I don't know if Joshua has joined us again. Joshua, are you there? I think Joshua hasn't rejoined us, unfortunately. Joshua is not here with us. So I'm going to come back to you, Khatun.
Yes.
You're talking about, a government who, I'm thinking to myself, the vice president came up with a post saying, "We're sorry, we know how bad you feel." Whatever happened to that remorse coming from the vice president? And I'm thinking also that if the vice president is speaking, he would have permission from the president to speak on issues such as this. And if the vice president showed some remorse, then all of a sudden the president comes back telling us that whatever we see, whatever happens to us, whatever happens to anybody who goes out to protest is our business. I'm trying to understand what happened to those two people. Is there some form of a misalignment between the vice president and the president, because the messages are not aligned? The vice president is showing remorse and trying to get, sympathy from the people, but the president is coming down hard on us. So what do we make of this?
From my point of view, regarding the president's speech, he did not even mention the Lekki incident. That shows you no remorse.
That's a whole kettle of fish on its own. Yes,
there's no remorse. There's no empathy, like I said. And then, regarding the vice president, I'm sorry to say this, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. He's a coward. Good men speak when they see bad things, regardless of what is going to happen. He's a coward. We watched DJ Switch stand there, do her lives with bullets flying past them, but they stayed there and they did what they had to do. Those were people with a conviction. The man has no conviction whatsoever. He is a stooge. I am sitting here and I am calling him out for being a coward. He is a professor, he is a pastor, and he has some law degrees as well. So he knows exactly what is good and what is bad. He knows what implementation and the implication of what this is. So he is a coward. So there is a misalignment. Yes, I agree. Because they are using him to try to gain sympathy. You understand? But that is not working. We can see right through it. So they've shown their hands. They have played very, very, very bad politics. And this does not say well. If they think that these actions that they are putting out is actually going to calm the people, no, they've actually just stirred up more. The people now believe. Let me tell you, this generation did not inherit the fears and the cowardice of the previous generation. This generation are a hopeless generation. By hopeless, I don't mean they are hopeless. I mean they have nothing to look forward to. No hope from the government. The government of Nigeria has not given them anything. That's why they are willing to die. If you notice, yes, the voice of the middle class is not going to change Nigerians. It's the poor people. Now that they have spoken, they are the ones that have been treated like trash the whole time. They're the ones that the police have brutalized. They're the ones that are still being killed in the streets right now. So they are martyrs right now. They're like, whatever, bring it. Even living in Nigeria is like death anyway. So what is death compared to this? So they need to to the youth that are protesting, especially the youth, and find a middle ground. If not, this thing is going to get bloodier, it's going to get uglier. Sadly, I see a lot of people asking for the international community to come in and help. International community really cannot do anything for you. We are not their priority. Everybody is fighting their own nationalist agendas in their countries. Nobody's going to be looking towards you. So the solution comes from within. And the sooner the government realizes that the solution is going to come from us that are revolting, that are reacting to what has happened. Because all of these are reactions triggered by injustice, triggered by a flawed system, a system that has not one day been instituted to protect the rights of the people. So they need to go back to the root of that trigger. What has triggered this reaction, and deal with it, or else it's only going to get uglier. The leadership is not aligned. They do not even know what they are doing. That's all I can say.
I want to just backpedal a bit. Let's go to what the army. Everybody has been asking questions. Every normal person would wonder why bullets would be flying across the heads of unarmed, normal peaceful protesters, and nobody's saying anything. Nobody has taken responsibility for it. But then the army spokesperson gave us their bits today, and summarily they're saying those soldiers you saw in the video were photoshopped. Let's take a look at that video, and when we come back, we'll comment. I think Joshua is back with us.
These are the people that are leading us. Can you imagine? These are the people that our lives and our futures and the futures of our children have been entrusted to. He doesn't even know what Photoshop is. Somebody just said that to him. Photoshop. Now Photoshop. So let me tell you this. It is not possible. It is that was photoshopped. We have people that were there live that saw it. We have people that were live that saw the military. First of all, let me tell you how this government is thinking from what we are deducing. Look at the video. They had many other ways of getting people out of that place. We've seen protesters being dispersed with water before. We've heard of rubber bullets. Even if you must shoot, you can shoot in the air. People are scared of bullets. But they came there with war ammunition, war, to make a point, to deter people, to show you that they are not going to bend backwards because they are protecting their own livelihood. They are protecting their entitlement. They are protecting their oligarchy because that is what is happening. And oligarchy is when a few people run a country, run the institution, not the most qualified people, but people who are entitled, who have resources, who have come there in a corrupt manner. So this is what is happening. They meant to do what they did. They switched off the light, and then even people are talking about them taking off those cameras. Those cameras were not CCTV cameras. I don't know why they took that down. I think that was very dumb for optics or whatever it is. But they meant to do what they meant to do. They brought weapons of lethal weapons to kill protesters that were holding hands, that were harmless, that were peaceful, that were only holding placards and demanding for their rights to live. First of all, I always tell people nobody needs to defend their right to live. We're not even asking for much. We're just asking that let us operate on a level playing ground and then see how we will prosper. It took the female feminist coalition a week to set up functional emergency helplines that the government has not set up in Nigeria for 60 years. It took Nigerian youth 2 days to set up solar panels that were able to charge hundreds of phones at the protester grounds so that people's phones can stay on and they are able to let the world know what is going on. This is what the government has not achieved in 60 years. Do you see the innovation of the Nigerian youth? All we're asking is give us, even if it's just power. Electricity is not a new invention. It's been on forever. Nigeria, one of the biggest oil exporting nations, one of the richest nations in resources, mineral resources, still cannot give its people ordinary power.
Kasim, I just want us to, sorry to talk over you. I just want us to take a look at the result of the presidency and government silence to the shootings that happened at Lekki Toll, from the lies that were told about how many people were killed. In fact, the government had come out, the Lagos state government had come out initially to say there were no casualties, but we have seen more and more people killed. Now, we've also seen people who are not necessarily protesters, but an angry mob per se. I don't want to call them hoodlums. An angry mob take over the streets of Nigeria, something like we've never seen before. Businesses have lost monies, places. I mean, this evening I saw a bank ATM literally taken out of the wall, literally taken off the wall, and money's taken out of it. But I've got some videos of young people in this country, an angry mob once again, raiding a warehouse where government stored food items and what Nigerian young, angry Nigerians have done. Not necessarily the original protesters who were peaceful, who were organized, but this is what is happening now as we speak. People didn't really sleep last night because they had one eye open. People's houses were being robbed. Businesses were being robbed. As we speak today, so many people have lost money. Everything that they stocked up in their shops, supermarkets have been broken into. Earlier today, Spar, one of the superstores in Nigeria, put out a message saying they know that they've lost business, they've lost monies, they've lost, everything, but then they still stand with young Nigerians. But should we be losing this much just to get the attention of our leaders? Should we have to go on a rampage for us to get the attention of our leaders? And even then, we're still getting the wrong end of the stick. Where do we go from here? Now we have heard the president obviously saying, well, if you come out and protest, bottom line, you might just get shot at. And if you stay at home, you might be safe. But how do we get the new Nigeria that we've been canvassing for over 2 weeks?
First of all, what we are seeing on the streets is just a reaction. It's a reaction to what is going on in the country. It's a reaction to the flawed system, a system that was never instituted to protect the common man. It's just a reaction. Because these people out there protesting see the people who are leading them travel out of the country to go and enjoy other democracies that are being run very well on taxpayer dollars. These people are seeing these people send their children to the best schools while they have zero or very shitty educations, if I excuse my French. They are seeing all of these things, and they are hearing on the news how we are wealthy in oil, wealthy in resources and all of that. But where are these resources? They hear the budget on a daily basis. Our budgets run into trillions of naira, which is billions of dollars. Where is this money? Where is it going to? How is it now that they're not seeing the effects of these in their own neighborhoods? So what do you expect? These people are not even well educated because of the standard of living. What do you expect? This is the reaction that you will get when they are pushed to the wall. They are not protected. They are not, we don't look out for them. What do you expect? They are hungry. They are tired. The minimum wage was raised from 18,000 naira, which is which is just about $30, yes, to 30,000 naira, which is just about $50. Do you understand? But even that has still not been implemented. And even those who and the governors are owing people almost a year's salary. What do you want them to do? These are reactions of a failed system or a flawed system. So now you're asking, where do we go from here? Yes, people have heard us, people are reacting, but we now need to be proactive. We now need to stay online where we have made the noise, because one thing that Nigerian government does not like is embarrassment. They do not like to be embarrassed. They don't like being called out by international communities. So people have been saying the international community can't do a lot. One thing that they can do is to continue to keep an eye and continue to speak. The people, we the youth, need to find our think tanks, because we must think about this strategically. We must channel the anger with strategy, not just emotionally. We must find those who will speak for us, and then use them to drive the kind of change that we are looking for. Go ahead.
Lastly, before we wrap this up, there have been some kind of feelers that the presidency, maybe not, but politicians, the powers that are trying to cause a division between or amongst young people. Now, there's been that division of, I see celebrities saying, oh, I'm not Igbo, I'm not Hausa, I'm Nigerian, don't let these people. And let's also people continue to stay the course. I want to ask you, how do we use this platform that you're talking about online? And thank goodness we have platforms like Habs TV. Thank you so much, Habs, for giving us this opportunity, and other platforms to educate people that divisions are not going to help us going forward, especially even people who work for the government. I'm talking about soldiers, police officers, non-uniformed organizations, people who work for politicians, so that they can also know that this fight is not necessarily against the government, but it is for the soul of Nigeria.
I think one of the things that is key to this struggle, key to this fight, is that we must educate each other that there is commonality in our affliction. We the afflicted are more than those who are afflicting it on us. And they are trying to use the divide and conquer using regional biases and religious biases to pitch people against each other. But the moment we are able to communicate the message whichever way we can, because some of these people that they are using as their agents of destruction are not even on social media. This is why we have suggested that let us get people who speak the languages to be able to translate the message that we're trying to get out there, plug it into the radios. Many of them listen to radios. We know that the NBC has been told not to embarrass the government by not doing stuff on the radio.
So the NBC has told us not to embarrass the government, and I'm still waiting for the NBC to respond to me, because I asked them, what do you mean by us embarrassing the government?
Exactly. So if we are not able to get the message on the radios that these people listen to, we're going to have to now make it a word of mouth thing. People have to actually roll up their sleeves right now and go into these neighborhoods and speak, and let them see that there's a commonality in affliction that affects all of us, not some of us. Let's ensure that we let them see that the people that are doing this to us are a select few that are out there to look out for themselves, and not all of us. Do you understand? When the soldiers aimed at the people in the crowd, the bullets did not go and pick out specific tribes. The bullets hit everybody that was there. So we need to understand. We need to get people to understand that there is importance in our unity. There's importance in staying together. There's importance in not allowing these unscrupulous elements to come and divide us. It is very, very important. Whatever we have to do to keep that unity, we must. There is no, I'm not an expert to tell you exactly how we're going to do it, but look, we have to employ every medium possible. Social media, TV, radio, word of mouth, send everything. Even if we have to go back to the post office and write letters, whatever we have to do, we must do. This is when we need those who have influence in the areas of religion, because Nigerians are driven a lot by religion. Let those people get up and speak. Use their voice right now, not just when it's time to collect offerings or appeal to people to get money that we want to hear their voices. We want to hear them now. If they care for the well-being of their people and they want those offerings to continue coming back, they need to use their voices right now to speak and look out for them. Because if these people are affected, they are affected. They go down as well. It is very, very important that we communicate this effectively.
All right. Let me quickly just acknowledge those who have joined us. Matt Goldman, thank you for joining us. Peter, Pablo. We also want to thank all the people that have joined us. Con Johnson says the stream looks great, guys. Thank you. Dion says you should preach it. Lioness Morgan, thank you for joining us. Frankie Kozaru. Akombondu Wisdom says it also was confirmed as a Photoshop today. Well, yeah, confirmed by who exactly? CHWK said, okay, I don't know what that is. But Mark Goldman here says, what a disgrace that they would act like this. And an even greater disgrace that they would not own up to it. He says, shocking. Seriously doubtful here says, oh, look at the sleepy guy. That's talking about your son, Katun. And Lloyd Hacking says, may God continue to bless you, sir. Shivani Prasad here says, thank you for this reporting, Marianne. Thank you, Shivani, for joining us. Thank you, Peter, also for your comment. Reddit Wash here says, all the best to the people of Nigeria. I hope you can unite North and South and take down your corrupt leaders. Well, that's what we're all about. Tippin Dippin here says, please do not listen to them. Please remain united as one Nigeria. And Wicked Beats What says, we need to make everyone aware of this. Tippin Dippin here says, absolutely, amen. Well, Katun, preachers have joined this course. I could see, I think the very first person who spoke up on this was I think the former running mate of President Buhari, talking about the pastor. Oh my goodness, I can't remember his church. Yes, Tunde Bakare. I was trying to remember the name of his church. Yes, Tunde Bakare was the first person who spoke up against, how the protesters were treated and why the protesters need to speak up. And then the likes of Paul Ade Farasin and House on the Rock and other preachers followed suit, but they didn't stop there. Something that intrigued me was that even before the preachers and the churches and the mosques and the imams joined this protest, young people were praying in their own way going around the protest grounds, praying every day, praying in their closets. They even brought the prayers to the protest grounds and made it official. I don't want to sound too religious, but do you think that this has helped also to maybe dumb down how bad this could have turned out?
Religion, as they say, like Karl Marx said, is an opium of the masses. If that is what the masses need, that's the only thing that actually gives a little hope in Nigeria. So if that's what they need to hold on to actually stay sane, then I'm all for it. Then it should be taken advantage of, to be honest. But I think the thing that will actually make the difference is the action that we take. Whatever prayers you're praying, you have to back it up with some form of action. You must back it up. You cannot just pray and hope that prayers will take you to your desired destination. So we have to back it up with action. If prayer helps to calm the nerves and helps people stay the course, then hey, let's go ahead and be praying.
All right, thank you so much, Captain. Fingers crossed. Let's see what tomorrow holds, and the day after, and the day after, and let's hope that things change for the better. I'm hoping that we will have a new strategy to come at this, because it looks like the president has somewhat declared war on every Nigerian young person. Thank you, Katun, for speaking with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having us, and keep doing what you are doing. We need more people like you to stand up and be able to educate people, because one of the things that we lack the most is education. We do not know enough about each other. We don't know enough about our rights, because if we knew, we wouldn't take what we're taking right now. But it's a new day, it's a new dawn. Let's keep on educating, keep on putting the word out there, and the paradigm shift we're expecting is going to happen. I just need all of us to be ready for the change, ready to stay the cause, ready to make sure that we stay consistent, ready to enjoy the change and manage it, and not do a full circle back, because we've seen countries get their liberation and then circle back to point A again. That's one of the things that I'm afraid of.